All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Pat, the P in JMPR Gaming, and we are here for MPC on MCP episode 7. Today we're going to be looking at the Criminal Syndicate, and then we'll have a little look at the cable card. As always, I am joined by Matt. Where are you, Matt? Oh, he's there. The M in JMPR. How are you, Matt?
I am very well, Pat. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I have tablet free of antibiotics, and fingers crossed we'll get the result on Monday that I am no longer dying of pneumonia, which will be good.
Yeah, with you.
So first of all, apologies for a little delay on this episode. It was just a timetabling issue. Matt and I just couldn't get an evening free. So
technically I wasn't free this evening, but
yep.
We're putting it in anyway, so
it's like, Matt, I don't care if you've got tennis, you're coming in sweaty and gross, and we're playing.
Sweaty and gross.
We're going to talk straight after.
I'm wearing nothing underneath. Just got to remember not to stand up.
We don't need to see that. We don't need
that. Do you know what though? I've just played like just over an hour of tennis. Didn't get injured. Absolutely fine. Come home, fall up my steps, and just like twist my ankle.
Yeah, I mean
that's my life right there.
I was about to say, for anyone who doesn't know, that's the most Matt thing you'll ever hear.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Sport. Well, to be fair, I normally get injured anyway.
I'd say football. I guess when we do our non-contact stuff, like it's not too bad, but So, what we're doing today, it's a bit of a similar episode as to what we usually do. So what we're going to do is look at an affiliation. This week, Matt is bringing Criminal Syndicate to the table, an affiliation he has played quite a bit of. We'll basically be breaking down the fighters in that affiliation, tactics cards, looking at some rosters, both fluffy and a bit more competitive. And then and then I'll bring you some comic book recommendations that I think link to the Syndicate in some way. And today we'll be looking at the reveal of Cable. So we're a little bit behind. I think they've released Domino, Luke Cage, Sin, Viper, and Iron Fist since we last did an episode. But that's AMG's fault. They just keep releasing good stuff.
We jumped ahead with the Spider-Man stuff as well, though.
We did. True.
So we're not that behind.
No, that's good. And to be honest, we're not going to get most of these models for a little while by the looks of it, unfortunately. Even in the UK, I know America, they said that there was going to be a bit of delay, but it looks like we're getting a delay as well. So
okay, we haven't seen anything yet.
No. And, that's fine. Gives Wallet a bit of a break.
It doesn't, because...
yeah, like Curse City, which you have almost picking up, which is mad.
Yeah, almost finished. 8 models left.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy.
I have to do it for...
It's been out for about 4 days, so...
I picked it up on Saturday, built them on Saturday, started painting Sunday.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We are now on Wednesday.
So 8 models out of 60 to go.
Not bad going.
So, that's not why we're here. We're here for MCP.
We are.
And my favourite bad guy. Currently favourite until Carnage and Mysterio get released. Although then they'll still be my favourite.
Yeah.
But they'll be like joint favourite. But anyway, we have got the Criminal Syndicate. I am evil. But I do like my street level bad guys.
Oh yeah.
I was watching the gaming. What's it called? Gaming. The YouTube channel. What's it called?
Games of the Round Table, not Games of the...
Oh my god, with Nate. What's he called?
Yeah.
Gamers Guild.
Gamers Guild. I got it first.
You didn't. And he was doing the three threat tier list.
Oh yeah. And that was quite recent.
At the bottom, so I stopped watching.
Yeah, I mean, you are a big proponent for Bullseye, so
do you know what? They put Valkyrie in S tier, followed by Bullseye. No, I think they did Bullseye then Valkyrie, and I think they put Bullseye in like the bottom tier and Valkyrie at the top. And I was like, no, I'm done. This is rubbish. Like anyone that's seen our games, anyone that's seen our games knows that Bullseye gets way more work done than Valkyrie.
Absolutely, mad.
We know that's not true in general, but just in our experience. That has definitely been our experience in the game. But we're looking today at quite a big roster, or sort of. They currently have 7 models available. We have 3 on the way. One of them we've seen and we've talked about, which is Mysterio.
Yep.
And we've also got Sin coming. She's going to be in Criminal Syndicate, which is nice, with Crossbones.
Yeah, I think that's
we're not going to talk about her today because she's not released yet. We've seen her card, but we're not going to talk about her today until we get to the point. We've also got Black Cat coming. We've seen the terrible model. We haven't seen the card yet. I'm sorry. The only reason she's going to see the table is if she's 2-threat.
I think she might be.
She better be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to have to make her one of the best models in the game. Best characters in the game. To want to use that model, just bad.
Yeah.
It just looks like she's being broken over someone's knee. I can see what. Yeah, I can. It's fine. It's just design choice.
I know what they were going for. I'm not sure.
Maybe the model will look better in person. Maybe I'll be able. You'll be able to like repose it slightly. Who knows? Yeah. We'll see. But the 7 models that we do have that we are going to talk about today are Kingpin, Bullseye, Crossbones, Green Goblin, Killmonger, MODOK, and Taskmaster. And I'll probably mention Mysterio a little bit towards the roster side of it, but not too much at the moment.
Cool.
And also
the leader then?
A couple of the characters we'll probably just glance over because they're mainly in other affiliations.
I think there's a few that we've already looked at as well, isn't there?
We've already looked at MODOK quite heavily, so we know what he does.
I think we looked at Crossbones a little bit as well.
I think we did. I'm going to talk about Crossbones again. I think he's having a resurgence at the moment.
Yeah.
Green Goblin we're probably not going to talk about because he'll be Spider-Foes.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
Killmonger, again, mentioned briefly, but again, we mentioned him in Cabal, and he's going to be mainly mentioned in Wakanda, so... so our leader of the Criminal Syndicate is the big guy himself. It is the Kingpin. Daredevil bad guy, Spider-Man bad guy. He's fought them all. I actually can't really think of any time he's ever fought anyone else. I know he has, like Luke Cage and
Punisher,
yeah.
Punisher.
He's a mob boss,
He's the Criminal Syndicate leader. He is just
like. As far as I know, he doesn't actually. He's very strong, but he doesn't have any tablets. Like he can just for some reason stand up to these superheroes.
Don't question it.
And just hold his own, basically. And that's
he's just
very much shown on the
He's just like peak strength. That's basically what he is. Just like peak strength.
I think he might be a mutant or something. He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
He doesn't know. But we look at his card here, and he's a pretty solid leader. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
He's got 7 health on his front side. He's only a short mover, but he's a big guy. He's got a cane. He struts.
Medium base though. So
medium base. He's a size 3.
Yeah.
He's a chunky boy.
Yeah.
But that's good for some of those size 2 throws. Just stops him being tossed around a little bit. His 4th threat, which is fine. Not the most expensive, not the cheapest. His defense is a little bit on the low side for a 4th threat. 4-3-3, 4 physical, 3 energy, 3 mental. It's okay.
I think he's got something.
I think that's
I think there's going to be
offset. I think that's slightly offset. We've got 3 attacks on the card. His first builder is a physical. It's range 2. It's 5 dice. It's obviously 0 power. After the attack is resolved, this character gains damage power equal to the damage dealt. It's called Headbutt, by the way. I forgot to mention that, which is great. It's just literally walks up and headbutts. Now, for a builder, it's got quite a nice little double effect here. On a wild, we get a stun. After target attack is resolved, target character gains the stun effect. No damage needed or anything. Just on the wild.
Yeah, that's the big thing I think for me is the fact that no damage needs to be dealt. It's just
and you also get a push.
Yeah.
And it's a size 3 or less push. Again, before damage is dealt. Sorry, not again, but before damage is dealt, it may be pushed away from this character short.
Yeah.
So a push and a stun on a builder
Yeah,
on a
it's super
while,
good.
That's
It's really offset by the fact that you have to get there, but once you get there, man, like you're getting nutted.
He's quite good. Obviously, the criminal syndicate play we'll get to in a second when we get to his leadership ability, but he's good for holding objectives.
Yeah.
He's then got an attack that I can't say I've used a lot of, but in situations it can be good, especially with a hammer or two, which is his cane laser. Again, it's 0 power. It's a beam 3 energy attack. Only 4 dice, and this is where it's a bit of a letdown, and it doesn't build any power, but it does ignore line of sight and cover. So
no, I think it's actually not too bad.
It's not too bad. It's just like you said, it's positioning him.
Yeah. It's kind of good on an E. If you're playing Kingpin on an E, and you can get, I think beams in general are good on an E. Yeah. Energy, we know energy's the strongest attack in the game. Just having access to it is nice. If there are any ways of buffing energy attack, well, this attack in general, I just think it's a solid.
Yeah, there's definitely ways to make it better, but it's not. You're probably not using it too much. No, maybe not. Who knows? Then we've got his spender, which is beautiful. It's just beautiful. It's called Hail to the King.
Yeah.
And he is the king.
Oh, it might be one of the best spenders in the game.
It's a range 2, so
yeah, okay.
It's 7 dice, solid.
Yeah, I like that.
It's only 3 power.
Exactly. That's
bear in mind this is like 2 cheaper than Bullseye's. Before the damage is dealt, you throw the target character short.
Yeah. And
after the attack is resolved, successful or not, the target gains the stagger condition. So you're picking them up. I'm imagining it's just to pick up and punch away, and they just go flying off, stunned, staggered, whatever.
Yeah.
And they're going to suffer next turn unless you're playing against Asgard. They're just going to shake that right off.
Yeah.
And we get through superpowers. Not a huge amount going on here, but what is going on is good.
Oh, it's really good.
We're going to ignore his leadership for a second. He's got 3 other powers. They're all. No, they're not. I don't know what I was going to. I don't know where.
They're all different. You were going to say they're all different.
They're all different. Yeah, that's what I was going to get. I forgot what I was going to say actually. So his first one is street level negotiations. Don't know why it's called this, but basically, choose an interactive terrain feature or an enemy character, size 3 or less, within range 2, and throw it medium. And that's only 2 power for that, for a size 3 throw. I don't know why it's only 2 power. I think it's because it's only a range 2, but you're throwing it medium.
Yeah.
And that's character.
I think that's wicked. I know why it's called street level negotiations, because he's picking up like a car and he's just going to chuck it at you. And that's negotiations.
That's negotiation, yeah.
Agree with him or get a car.
Or just get thrown off a building.
Yeah.
So
it's one of the best throws. It's incredible.
I think that's a great throw. It's just a solid throw. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
Next one is a reactive power. Costs 1 to use.
Yeah.
If this character would suffer damage, it may use the superpower. Reduce the amount of damage suffered by 1. Not to a minimum of 1. Oh no. Just reduce it by 1. It's very nice.
And it's any damage. That's
yeah. You get a car thrown at you. Dodge a couple, reduce the damage.
Yeah,
you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. And the other nice one is solid frame. This is always on. He's, as we've mentioned, he's a slightly bigger guy. This character does not suffer damage from collisions with any other character.
Yep.
Throw a bad guy into him. Throw him at a bad guy. I don't know if anyone can do that, but
there are a few.
Can you throw allies?
Oh! I thought you meant like, can he be thrown into his other? Piece?
Oh no! I meant like, yeah.
No. Oh god! If you could throw allies, that would be amazing.
I mean, apart from the Hulk thing, but that's not a throw.
Yeah, it's a superpower or a card, isn't it? Tactics card.
So on his injured side, it's the same.
It's the same, yeah.
It's the same. He another 7 health, so he's 14 health.
14 overall. 14 overall with a very solid physical defense and average everything
average
else.
other defenses, but with the ability to reduce damage.
But with the ability to reduce damage, exactly. Like this is powerful.
He's good in a group because, like I said, they can't. There's no point someone picking characters up and throwing into him. He's not. I mean, okay, you could throw him at other characters, but he's not going to take any damage from it. So
yeah,
he's very, very durable.
Yeah. And being durable is important for Illicit Network, like for his leadership.
And here is his leadership. As Pat has just referred to, it is called Illicit Network. Once per turn, at any time during an allied character's activation, it may spend 2 power to use this leadership ability. Move 1 asset or civilian token being held by this character to another character within 3. A character cannot hold more tokens than it is allowed to by the crisis due to this leadership ability. Additionally, each allied healthy character contesting an objective token counts as 2 healthy characters when determining who is securing the objective token. Booyah!
It's that second part that is the most important part. I mean,
it is the second part. It says additionally, but what it means is this is the bit you want to read.
Read this bit first, and the top bit is gravy. Yeah,
the top bit might be helpful sometimes.
Oh, I think it's been helpful.
It's helpful.
It's good. It's not as good as just always counting as 2. Like that is just that's ridiculous.
There are some caveats to that. Obviously, the characters have to be healthy once they're flipped. Criminal Syndicate, they're some dodgy looking criminals. They tend to slink away a little bit. Maybe they don't want to hold the objectives quite so much. But it's such a solid ability. You can play wide. You can really swamp the objectives. If you're activating last and your opponent's left 1 guy on a far objective and you can get there, you just run over to it and you're like, this is mine.
Yeah. I mean, they're so good. It's one of those leadership abilities that shapes the entire roster and shapes the gameplay that you're gonna like. If your opponent, like if I'm your opponent and I know you're bringing Criminal Syndicate, I think there's like you're just going to be sat on those like secures and you're just going to be such a pain to move because not to bury the lead too much, you're going to be taking a lot of tanky characters and funnily enough, we're getting more and more of these tanky characters that, you've obviously got your Modocs, you've obviously got your, Kingpin and stuff like that, your big guys, but you're getting more and more of these like smaller characters sort of.
Luke Cage is coming into Criminal Syndicate. I'm hiring that hero.
Yeah. You got Taskmaster, these are.
Taskmaster's great as well, yeah, absolutely.
Gosh, what's his name? Brock Crossbones, another guy who can just sit on an objective and murder anyone else. Murder anyone else who gets close to you. I think it really does shape everything you're going to do. You have to think, how is the best way of me using this second part of the ability, because that's the one that's going to win you games, because it's very difficult if you get 2 Criminal Syndicate fighters on to a point. I don't have 4 characters. That can go.
Well, you need 5, right?
Exactly. Well, it's 4 to contest, and then it's 4 to contest and 5 to win. Like it's just
I've had it before where literally I've had a character on an objective, and my opponent has moved 2 characters over there just to stop me scoring that objective. They couldn't attack me. They just double move to get on the objective. It's like, okay, you're wasting 2 characters against, I think it was Mystique at the time. I'm like, that's fine. Like, that is fine.
What's so good about Mystique as well is obviously stealth. So, we are
going to mention Mystique. She is in both my rosters put together for tonight. She's very good in Criminal. She's not Criminal Syndicate, but she's very good in Criminal Syndicate.
Agreed.
Because of stealth, like you said. Because it turns out, if you've got a character who can't be seen from far away, sat on the counting as 2, it's pretty good.
It's really difficult,
So that's Kingpin. That is our solid leadership ability. This is why I love playing Criminal Syndicate, because I can just play loads of goons and have fun. And they might all get knocked out by the end of the game, but it was fun playing. And they are quite they can score a lot of points early on if you do it right.
Absolutely agree.
Depends on the objectives, but
of course
they can score.
If you get things your way, they can.
100%. I'm going to go straight into the star of the show.
Your favourite? I knew you would. I guess I had next. I had Bullseye loaded up.
Did you? I'm going to talk about Mysterio. No. No, I'm going to talk about Bullseye now. So, yeah.
Hot take.
Now, bear with me on this, because
Matt's
when I'm going to read out the card. I'm going to read out the card, and people are going to be like, "He's terrible." He's not. He is. I
don't think he is.
He's not.
He's terrible.
Yeah. He's not. He's great. He gets so much done for me in like every time I play him. So, because everyone ignores him. Like, this is his strength, is that people look at him and go,
he's not going to do anything.
And then, boom.
Oh god, all my characters are bleeding.
Yeah.
Oh god, they're all dying.
So Bullseye is a 3-threat character, and this is the issue. Yep. There are a lot of 3-threat characters around, and this is the issue. He's got 5 health, which is, fine. He's a medium mover, which is fine. He's size 2, which is fine. He's got 3/3/3 defense, which is fine. Can
I just say the most average stat line you'll ever see
for a 3-threat character? He's got nothing that currently stands out, and he's not going to. Wait for this. So his builder is a throwing knife. It's 4 dice. It's range 4, which is pretty good. It costs nothing, obviously, because it's a builder. The defending character doesn't get cover because it's Bullseye. Which is fine, that's good.
That's not nothing.
That's not nothing. It doesn't ignore line of sight, but it does ignore cover.
Yeah.
After this attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt. This is where I think it needed to be just gains 1 power. Unfortunately, he doesn't. And also on a wild, it causes bleed, which is good. I like dishing out a few bleeds now and again.
Well, I think I just want to jump in there. What you've got here is in 2 characters. You've got stun, you've got stagger, you've got bleed. Like you're already looking.
We'll get to this because this is the thing. There's a lot of conditions being. A lot of
condition game, I think. Yeah. What's his next attack now?
He only has 1 more attack. Yep. For those thinking this was going to be a lot of attacks, like I know he's got throwing knives. He could throw something else like a rock. No. He's just going to throw more knives on his next attack. He's going to pin cushion you. Yep. So this is his spender. Oh, I was wrong. It only costs 4. For some reason, I thought it cost 5. It's range 4 again. Yep. It costs 4. It's 5 dice. That's so bad. That's why it's 5.
It's so bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It gets better. So again, the defending character does not get cover.
Good.
Still doesn't ignore line of sight though, even though he can throw stuff around corners and stuff.
Yeah.
After the attack is resolved, the character gains bleed.
Like he's hit you. He's riddled you with knives now.
It doesn't even need to hit you. You gain bleed.
Yep.
And this is a stupid thing. It's got an automatic rapid fire. I can't cause bleed twice.
No.
But that is a 10 dice attack, sort of.
Yeah. What I actually like about this is it's not like you get to throwing knife after. It's just you get to make that pin cushion.
So it's 10 dice. Like I'm really trying to make this sound better, but I can't. It's 2 5 dice attacks for 4 power.
Yeah. And that's the problem.
That's 2 power an attack.
Yeah. Yeah. For basically...
do you know what? I would rather it just cost 2 power and I can do it once.
Yeah.
I think.
No.
Because I don't think I've ever had 8 power and gone, I'll pin cushion twice.
No, but you have definitely spiked with the pin cushions before.
I have.
Yeah. I mean, looking at these attacks here, I am not enamored. Like, I am not enthralled. I am not.
But he's been wowed many times, so
he has
sat there like, oh my god, he's so good. So I'll move on to his
superpowers. It's his
superpowers. This is where he becomes a bit more interesting.
Yeah. No, he definitely does. Like, I completely agree. This is where he gets. This is where he shines a little bit more. This is where he shines. Yeah.
Okay, so his first one is hit and run. We've seen this before, I think, probably because it is on other characters. This is where I think I would rather have like a charge.
Okay.
But it's okay. So hit and run is an action. He immediately makes an attack action. It costs 2 power. He immediately makes an attack action followed by a move action.
He's just running away.
Yeah, which is fine. It's like throw a card, or sorry, not a card. He's not Gambit. Throw a knife, and then reposition. Yeah. it's okay, but I did agree with what they said on the Gamers Guild about him. Bullseye, because he's range 4, he tends to be kind of where he wants to be already. So, do you need to do it?
Yeah.
Like, I guess maybe. There's going to be times when it's beneficial. But, you know, it's good. Like, I like being able to get that attack and move action. It's, you know, good economy. But it's whether that order, you know, tends to be like a charge is usually a bit more useful. But it's fine. It only costs 2. Get half a ping cushion for that. His next power though is this is great. It's called I Never Miss because he doesn't, apart from if he's fighting Daredevil, which he misses all the time. After attack by this character is resolved, if no damage was dealt as a result of that attack, which happens a lot, funnily enough, when you've got a 4 dice and a 5 dice attack, spend 1 power and that target takes a damage.
Yeah.
Which is actually really quite useful.
It's super useful.
Because if you're really, really, really trying to take that last point of damage off, being able to do it, either you do it if you attack, you can basically attack the bullseye with a throwing knife. If you've got, you know, say, assuming you've got a power already, you attack with a throwing knife. Yeah, if you take him out with the attack, great, didn't spend the power. If it doesn't, you can just go, right, he blocked all the damage. I'm just going to spend 1 power. You're taken out anyway. He's very good at finishing off injured characters.
Yeah.
His last ability is also pretty good. And it's called Parting Shot. It's 2 power. After an attack targeting this character is resolved, this character may use the superpower. The attacking character suffers a damage, and then this character may move away short from the attacking character. Yep. That is better than parting than hit and run. Because that is take a damage and I'm buggering off because you punched me or shot me or stabbed me or whatever. So that I actually think is a little bit better because it possibly gets him out of range from a second attack. Just might put him in a better position. So I think that is a bit better. On his injured side, obviously he gets 1,000,000 times better.
What?
Oh wait, no, he's the same. Not bad.
Yep. I mean, he doesn't get worse, to be fair.
That is true. He does not get worse.
You know what? I think Poindexter's in a funny place, isn't he? Because, like you say, the range 4 and all his abilities, it's almost like if he was range 3, you'd almost get like better use out of his abilities, but then he would be infinitely worse. Yeah. So it's like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? Do you want him to like have different suite of superpowers? No, that wouldn't be Bullseye. Like, this is just Bullseye. Bullseye's not bad on like I think on like a B and a D map, where he can sit on the back, come forward a little bit if he has to, but then can run away to say just one, like distance 1 just behind the secure that he's sitting on. So he's still in range of securing it. But has, just got a little bit of distance between himself and what he's going against. And I think that's where you've used him the most in these sort of more go wide criminal syndicate lists. So yeah, I think, you know what, Bullseye's solid. I think you just need to play him probably slightly differently than how you'd want to be playing the rest of criminal syndicate, I think. Yeah. And I think that's probably why he doesn't see quite as a lot of play. Because a lot of these criminal syndicate ones are the game priority and don't lose it throughout the entire game sort of list. So they're like taller rather than wider. But I think, especially with, characters like Luke Cage, characters like Deadpool coming out, these 3 threats that are pretty solid will allow you to go slightly wider. And then you'll need these cheaper criminal syndicate characters, such as Bullseye, such as Mysterio, to really build up that roster. So I think he's got a space, and I think people will be kinder to him once these go wider strategies sort of become a bit more prevalent, I think. Okay. So all it is, Matt, you're just ahead of the curve.
Obviously, obviously tactical genius.
You're a trendsetter. Don't know about that.
Bullseye is amazing. You heard it here first. Or Yeah, I haven't seen anyone say it's good, so yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Who am I going for next? Go on. Where am I going next, Pat? What do you think?
Taskmaster?
You are right! I am going Taskmaster next. We've been doing this too long. So this is going from a 3-threat to a 3-threat.
Yeah.
And we're going to see something a little bit different here. So straight away, we've got 6 health on the health side.
Mm-hmm.
Meaty 3-threat right there.
Yeah.
He's also a medium mover. He's also height 2. He also has 3 defenses across the board. So far, the only thing better than Bullseye, I'm just going to compare everyone to Bullseye now. The only thing better than Bullseye so far is his 1 extra health.
You're right, that is the only thing better so far.
So far. We are going to go into his attacks now. He has 3, so he's already one more attack better than Bullseye.
Well, Bullseye Spender's really 2 attacks if you think about it. So
that is true.
Yeah.
It's also twice the cost of.
You're right.
Anyway, so
Sword Strike. Tell me about Sword Strike.
Sword Strike is a range 2. Pathetic. 5 dice. Show off. Attack. I'll stop. We'll never get anywhere if I keep comparing everyone to Bullseye. Gains damage equal to power. Gains power equal to damage dealt.
Yep.
And on a wild, it causes bleed.
So if you play Baron Zemo, you've seen this.
Yeah, it's the same as Baron Zemo's. And his next attack is shockingly the same as a character that you might not think straight away. Like, who's he going to be like? But we've got a shield throw.
Yeah.
Have we seen this before on a certain captain?
Certain captain.
This attack ignores line of sight. It can ricochet as well on a wild, which we know what that does. You can hit another character within range 3 of the original character.
Yeah.
It's only 4 dice, but it's range 4. So it's almost like throwing some knives, but you get to hit 2 characters.
Yep. And doesn't ignores line of sight as well.
Ignores line of sight. Bullseye, that's what Bullseye needs to do. He just needs to get himself a shield.
Yep. What about his final technique? Final attack.
Is mnemonic technique. It's range 2 again. Mm-hmm. It's 4 dice for 2 power. It seems bad.
It doesn't seem good.
It does seem bad. But then he gets to add dice to the attack roll equal to the target's physical defense. So actually, he runs up to those brawling characters and goes, I'm just going to copy you and steal your defense dice.
Yeah.
So
on average, this will be a 7, but it can be
7, 8,
9. Yeah, we've got some 5s.
There's some 5s around. So that's pretty good. I like it. He's then got some pretty interesting abilities that you don't. They're hard because if your opponent knows, your opponent can kind of control them.
Yeah, I recently played Taskmaster in the Civil War event, and I found that I really didn't get to use a lot of these attack superpowers, mainly because you're trying to play a slightly different mission, and so it doesn't
but
really...
also because I've used Taskmaster quite a bit, and I know he's attacking him.
If you just shoot him, you either shoot him from range or you ignore him. That's basically how it goes.
That's pretty much how it went. He did some stuff in the last game, but
I can't remember which second one. I think it was the second game. It was the second one, yeah.
He's got photographic reflexes, which cost 2 power. This is his only one that costs anything, by the way.
Yeah.
The others are all always on. After an attack targeting this character is resolved, this character needs a superpower. If the attacker is within 3, roll 4 dice, deal damage for each wild and crit in the attack roll or in the roll. If the attacking character has already targeted this character this turn, roll 6 dice instead of 4.
Yeah.
So you could do that twice. You could get 10 dice potentially thrown at this, which is a couple of damage on average.
Oh yeah, it's going to do a couple of damage. The problem with this, I found I never used it once in the 3 games. Oh, did I?
I think you used it once, and I actually think it did 2 damage.
Oh, it might. Yeah, well, I mean, that sounds like my dice roll sometimes.
I think that you actually did do 2 damage. I can't.
Okay.
I'm sure. In fact, I'm sure you did.
I've blocked most of that Civil War event out, to be honest.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
But the problem with this is most of the time you're not going to get targeted twice, so you're not really going to get to roll.
If people know what they're fighting, anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
And well, at least they're not going to target you twice if you're within 3.
Yeah, agreed. But if they do, this is great.
I'm not a big fan of the abilities that are like that, where you there's a lot of them now in the game, or quite a few, where it's normally 2 power, sometimes 3, I think. And it's roll dice, and then on crits and wilds, it does something.
It's usually Counter Strike, isn't it? That's usually what it's called. Like we've seen it on
and there's
Widow,
like rocket
Widow 2.
traps and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, and Goblin has it, and Mysterio has it as well. And it,
like it's situationally good if they've got 1 or 2 damage left, and you really just want to go for it and try it, or if you like, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably better than what I'm making it out to be, but I'm just not a big fan of them.
Yeah.
His 3 always on powers are intuitive pattern recognition. If an enemy character targets this character with an attack and has already targeted this character with an attack this turn, you get to add 2 dice to your defense roll. So again, if he gets targeted twice by the same character, 2 extra defense dice. Doesn't matter what kind of attack it is.
Yeah. And that would just mean it's 5s across the board, and that's brilliant.
Yeah, so solid.
Yeah.
He then has martial artists, which we've seen before. So when defending against a physical or an energy attack within range 2, you get to add blanks to your successes. Again, great if you're up close to him. Not so great if I'm shooting him with an assault rifle. And his last one is what makes him so versatile in lists is Rogue Agent. He doesn't count. He can count as an affiliate character during squad building.
But he is affiliated in Criminal Syndicate.
He is also already affiliated in Criminal Syndicate, I should also point out. This is why he's getting brought up now. He only has 5 health on his injured side, but that does still put him at 1 health above average for a 3 threat.
Yeah.
He doesn't. Nothing else changes.
Yeah.
I like him. He's very, very spot on theme wise, fluff wise. He's pretty defensive when you start getting those extra defense dice. He's very good on objective. Weaknesses are he can be sniped.
I saw that.
His best attacks are close up.
Yeah.
So again, 3 threat. He's solid, but
he does what he does what Kingpin wants, which is not die when sitting on an objective. If someone's going to come toe to toe with Taskmaster is just going to sit there and take it, and that's what you want in Criminal Syndicate. You just want a character that's just going to sit there and not be moved. I mean, he could actually be moved. He could be thrown. He could be, but if we're just doing physical attacking or whatever, it's difficult to get Taskmaster.
Yeah. It is indeed. So, next up, we're going to go to Crossbones. This is the next card I have in my hand. So we have talked about Crossbones before, so I'm not going to talk about too much now. All I will say is in Criminal Syndicate, he's very good to sit on an objective and take a beating and dish one out in return.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned him you mentioned him when we were looking at Cabal last time, and I think he fits into Criminal Syndicate. Like, if you're just looking at his cards, better. That inured to pain, the aggressive, if you need to, hit back, the 4 defense, the sort of 11 threat or 11 health. It's good. Like, you're not going to be.
Yeah,
you're not going to be moved.
That's what we just went through. Was 9 threat of character of 13 if you include Kingpin as well. And you've got 22, 32, 46 health on the board.
Yeah.
two abilities that reduce damage.
Yeah.
Another character that can't be damaged by getting other characters thrown into him. It's a lot of health. And they can be very tanky, which is what you want.
Yeah, and I think that's only sort of you're then basically filling the gap when you look at MODOK, Green Goblin, Kingpin. You're basically just saying, what else? MODOK's amazing in Criminal Syndicate. I mean,
Of course he is.
like, he's brilliant in Cabal, but again, I just think the Criminal Syndicate stuff where you're trying to go tool, you're going to gain priority, you're just going to sit on a place and you're not going to move. And MODOK is just going to move everyone else off. So that's good. I think Goblin and Killmonger are in a funny place. You know, I think you've had a funny experience with Killmonger in the past in Criminal Syndicate where he doesn't really do what the game plan wants, because he wants to be a bit more aggressive. And if you just, he could be a little bit of a sort of deterrent, where it's like, if you come over here, you're going to have to deal with.
When I use him, the idea is he goes and puts some pressure on your opponent's back point.
Yeah.
And it's just never worked out so far. Like, it has, but at the same time, he's just got splattered. And it'll get there. Like, he's slowly drifting out of the lists.
Yeah.
Especially with the newer characters coming out. So yeah, he won't be in my Criminal Syndicate list for very long, I don't think. Maybe popping up occasionally, but
I think what a character like Green Goblin brings, though, however, is the ability to do dual affiliation.
Dual affiliation, especially now we're getting some more spider foes,
and especially when you've got like Mysterio.
Mysterio is cross as well.
It's cross both, and so is Kingpin. So you got Kingpin, Mysterio, and Goblin, who are on.
Goblin. All three, both,
and technically Taskmaster.
And Taskmaster obviously fits anywhere. So
you've effectively got 4 characters there that fit in 2 affiliations.
And then we're also going to be introducing Sin, who is Criminal Syndicate Cabal, and a leader of Cabal. You've already got Crossbones and MODOK in there. It's going to be very, 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 very easy to be running a 3 affiliation list where there's a lot of crossover.
Especially when characters like Mystique, who are in Cabal, are super good in Criminal Syndicate.
Yes.
Enchantress is really good in Criminal Syndicate as well.
I think she's going to... with Mysterio, I think there's no need to take Enchantress. Not no need, but I think you can take Mysterio, who is...
You heard it there, Gareth. You heard it here first. When Mysterio comes up, no need to play Enchantress.
Ever again. Just take 3-threat Mysterio, who's better.
What about tactics cards? Seriously, when we're talking about the roster here, I think the ability to like cross over so often or so much with Cabal and Spider Foes is a big boon for Criminal Syndicate, because Criminal Syndicate is very good when the objectives come out a specific way, and you know there are going to be times when you'll probably want to be a little bit more punchy and a little bit more movie uppy, in which case Spider Foe is probably slightly better, and Cabal Sin's leadership is just bonkers. Who knows how good it is?
I don't think we're going to know straight away until we've played her a little bit.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
It could be really, really good.
Yeah,
it could be bang average.
Who knows?
I don't think it's going to be bad.
No, I even think characters such as like Loki, who's in Cabal, is good in Criminal Syndicate as well. Yeah. Like, I think there's characters in Cabal, there's characters in Spider Foes that really like to be, or who do work, I should say. In
Green Goblin's good as well because he's chucking out more conditions. Thank you. I've completely forgot the word.
It's complete.
Those things that they get that add tokens.
Tell us about All According to Plan.
All According to Plan is I haven't really used it, but it is a tactics card. Mm-hmm. It's a card. It is a Criminal Syndicate only card. During the power phase, any number of characters may spend power towards this card. Mm-hmm. If you spend 10 power, you get priority.
Yeah. Now, the reason this isn't taken very often is most of the time this affiliation has priority. Yeah. Right? Like
I guess you can.
Will it be different when we get a slightly more wide strategy?
I think so.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
this will.
there's already a wide criminal syndicate strategy.
Yeah,
And I
you
think
play it. You play it a lot, and I think it's good.
I do. Um, I still haven't used this card though, because I feel like if I've got this card, if I've got 10 power set on, because a lot of the power characters are quite power hungry.
Yeah.
And I think if I've got spare 10 power on the board, I'm probably losing.
Yeah.
Which maybe then I do want to take it, because then I do really need that priority in the next turn.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe I should start trying it.
Yeah, I think a character like Kingpin can really you're throwing once a turn, so that's 2 power, and you may be reducing damage once or twice. But with that headbutt, I actually think you're going to be gaining a decent amount of power. I think Kingpin I haven't seen to be too power hungry. So if you can take if you can take 3 or 4 power off Kingpin, you only really need to. I mean, MODOK's going to have power, but again, if you're playing MODOK and Kingpin, you've probably got priority because that's 9 threat and 2 fighters. So you're going to have to be going very much like 3s and 2s across the board if you're wanting to not have prio, or you've just murdered your opponents. So it does. But yeah, it's a cool tactics card. It's a
I mean, I do like it. I like the idea behind it. I just haven't really tried it yet.
That's fair. What about cruelty?
Cruelty is a nice little card. I do like cruelty. So this one is again Criminal Syndicate. It's after an attack has targeted an enemy character. If the attack did damage,
just if it damages an enemy, spend 2 power.
Spend 2 power, and you get a 5 dice mental attack.
Range 5.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Targeting the same character.
I assume you're just saying some very nasty words to the person you've just beat up.
Haha, stab you!
Yeah, basically.
Why are you so mean?
Oh, I can't. He did stab me. Oh, my brain.
It's basically a finisher, essentially, is what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
I like it. It's worked. It's done some damage for me.
Oh, it has. Yeah, the range 5 is the big thing here. That's just yelling from across the table to an opponent that they suck. Yeah, and you don't get to add your crits. You do get. I mean, it can. That is the only thing.
That's the only way.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
It's
like 5 dice attack. That's normally 1 or 2 damage, depending on. And it's against mental. This is for some reason, you are just psyching them out.
Yeah, you're just humiliating.
I reckon that is what it is. You are literally shouting some horrible words. You're like, I'm beating you up.
I stabbed you. Sucks to be you. You suck.
But the whole team just starts shouting at that one character.
But I think this next one's kind of. You've used this one, and oh boy,
I love the next card. The next card is again, it's a bit situational.
Oh yeah.
But it's called Shadow Organization. Mm-hmm. And that is because the Criminal Syndicate are a shady organization.
Oh, yeah, a shady bunch.
I mean, they're not the Hand, but this is maybe more of a Hand card. But I don't think
I mean, sure, yeah.
I think we're likely to see the Hand as a faction.
I doubt it.
So this is a reactive card. During the power phase, any number of allied Criminal Syndicate characters, so this is where it's a little bit more restrictive, but it's fine, may spend 2 power to play this card. Mm-hmm. Enemy characters must be within 2 of the characters that spent that power to target them with attacks this round.
Yeah. It's like super stealth.
This was great because the first time I used this card, maybe the second time, it was early on. It was when they were fairly newly released. Pat and I were having a game. Pat had Thanos on the table. I think it was Pat's first time using Thanos.
Yeah.
It was I think he was range 3 away. Mm-hmm. I was like, you know what? Shadow Organization. MODOK, you using it. Kingpin, you using it. Bullseye, you using it. They were all the characters that were within range 3 of Thanos at the time. Yeah. Thanos then had to move to attack. So he only got 1 attack off.
Yeah.
So I think he punched MODOK. He probably did a couple damage. Thanos died that round.
Yeah.
Straight up. He was healthy before that point.
Stealth is annoying. This is next level.
Yeah, it's for 1 turn, but for 2 power, for at least half, in theory, as depending on what power you've got and stuff, but at least half your roster, assuming you're not playing fully affiliated, is going to just go, can't see me. All those ranged characters, Hawkeye, Rocket.
It's not even range, a lot of characters do have that 3 range attack. And
it's just, it almost forces, unless you're already like in their face.
Yeah, in which case you're probably not spending that power.
And I think this is where Bullseye's hit and run comes in. You're like, Shadow Organization, hit and run. Bullseye's out of range. You have to hunt him down.
Can't do it.
Goes behind that street, corner. Hides behind a lamppost, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think this is actually a really good card. I think this can see a lot of play. I think that might be the only one that made my competitive list.
I can see it. I can see it. You've used it to great ability, and
I think it's got a place.
Absolutely agree.
Straw's really bad.
I mean, yeah. So I think what we've got lined up for you now are a couple of rosters.
We have
Matt has come up. So we got we always do this. We got a slightly fluffier one, so probably a little bit more thematic, a bit more closer to what you'd expect when you look at the people in the affiliation. And then
should be on screen.
Yeah, and then we got a slightly more competitive one. So I'm assuming this, looking here, is your more thematic one.
This is as fluffy as I could get with the characters that are currently released, but I also had Mysterio.
Yeah, I mean Mysterio is great in this affiliation, so I think we.
So we've got basically it's a spider foe, because there's not quite 10. It would have been 10 if I'd used all of the characters, but I haven't used Sin or Black Cat, obviously, because we haven't seen Black Cat's card and Sin's not released yet. And I know I put Mysterio in, but we have seen his card maybe. So I also wanted to put Mystique in. So and Doc Ock for reasons.
We'll find out in a minute.
We'll see that in a second. Well, again, that's more of a Spider Foes thing, but
doesn't have it's not affiliated.
That's a lie. It's unaffiliated. Kingpin, obviously, Bullseye, Crossbones, Green Goblin, MODOK, Killmonger, Mysterio, Taskmaster, Doc Ock, and Mystique. They can play wide. There's a lot of 3-threat characters in there. There is no 2-threat character.
Yeah.
I was going to squeeze Toad in, but that would have required dropping Mysterio.
Someone.
I wasn't going to do that.
Yeah, I mean...
Or maybe Killmonger. I think Killmonger is probably a sacrifice character there.
This is considering how many 3 threats you got here. This has to be a go wide.
This is a you put as many models on the table as you can. But if you want to, you could play Kingpin, Green Goblin, MODOK, and one other at 15.
I mean that's 13, so you need to be at 16. I think, to play that.
Yeah.
But
so yeah.
Still,
basically, most of them you're going to get 4 minimum.
Yeah,
probably 5.
Mm-hmm.
You can also play Spider Foes off this as well, and so it's my 2 favorites all in one soon. I mean, when the other characters drop, Killmonger will get replaced with Carnage. Mystique will probably be dropped for Venom or. No, not Black Cat. I was going to argue Black Cat. I was no. We'll see if she's 2-threat, maybe. But yeah, tactics cards. I went with all 3 of the ones we just talked about, and then obviously the typical brace and choose what you want. Field dressing, med pack.
I think brace is a must in this faction when you've got
a lot of squishy characters.
Big boys with squishy characters. So
yeah. Brace is pretty important. Climbing gear, because you've got a few slow characters in there. Extra movement always helps. Because I've got Mystique, I've obviously got Deception.
Like it.
And because I've got Doc Ock and Green Goblin, I've obviously got Well-Laid Plans, because that card is bananas.
Yeah, I mean, what's really interesting here is you can take the secures using Kingpin's leadership ability.
Yeah.
And then with Well-Laid Plans, it's we're just not scoring it this round. No one's scoring it. I'm just going to win on secures.
You've got extracts? No.
Doesn't matter. You're not going to score any points of it.
Yeah. If it all goes to plan.
If it was a well-laid plan.
Well-laid plans that go all according to plan. Yeah. If there was more cards that had plan in its name, I'd put them in here. There might be. I don't Crises. I've gone for a bit of a mixture in this. I didn't think too hard about this. I just went for ones that I like to play.
I think that's fair when you're doing the fluffy list.
Yeah. Hammers is hammers. Like hammers is always fun. I don't care. Like it's just it's fun. Doesn't matter what faction you're playing. Hammers is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Wakandan Herbs is one that I still have only ever played once. But I think Criminal Syndicate can actually play it quite well with the other part of the leadership ability.
Oh,
especially
yeah,
actually. If you chuck Lockjaw in there, you could be a turn 1 score possibly. If you worked it all out, you'd probably have to measure things. But
it's difficult because it costs 2 power, so you'd have to do something with like advanced.
Yeah. All right. It probably isn't worth it, but you in theory, there's probably someone smarter than me will probably figure out that you could definitely easily do it. Like if you do this, and this sort of thing, which is fine. I'm not that person, but I'm sure with the thing you could use it. Senators, I quite like senators. It's 14 threat as well, which I think this list is quite good at 14 threat. Black Order Vaults, I like that one. It's good. It's a D map. We like D maps. We've got Gamma.
I think you especially like D maps when you're a bit wider.
Yeah. D or B, which shockingly, I've got a D and a B. And then I also took an E map for when I want to play a bit taller and go with MODOK, Kingpin, etc.
Scary.
It's still fun. Gamma's not my favorite mission to play, but it's better than Demons. So
I enjoy it because it's punchy, and I like.
It's fun. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love punching stuff.
You get to roll dice.
Exactly. I hate dice. Me and dice have a love-hate relationship. Recently, they love me.
Yeah,
but that will change. I know as soon as we play in real life, that will change. I saw that.
I think this looks fun. I think this looks good. I think you're going to have a wide variety of characters that do different things. You've got some decent tactics cards. I don't think any of the tactics cards you picked would look out of place in a slightly more competitive list. And you know what? Like you said with Crises, play what you like. It's if you're not playing competitively, just play the missions that are cool.
Yeah. I mean, do you know what? The more I've been thinking about it, the more I think if you're playing for fun, just take all of the Crisis cards, shuffle them up, and just draw 2, and then pick one.
Yeah.
Like I know it's part of the roster building thing, but I just think if you're setting up a fun game, just do it. So this is a bit more competitive list.
This looks different.
It's quite different. Now there is still no 2-threat character in there, and that's probably where it probably needs it. But
it probably wants an Okoye or a Toad, I think.
Yeah, do you know what? I got so stuck deciding between them, I put Crossbones in.
So what you're hearing there, guys, is Crossbones can be Toad or Okoye. Just take your pick.
Yeah.
I like this. This looks beefy. This looks real.
This is playing Tool. Not gonna lie, you're probably going to want to play Tool here. And we'll go over why. So we've got Kingpin again. Obviously, he's the leader. He can take a beating. He can dish out a reasonable beating. Obviously, he's slow. We've got Mysterio for his control. Again, he's slow, but he's got those controlling elements that otherwise you don't have in this list. Again, you could put Enchantress in right now if you can't wait for Mysterio.
Not affiliated though.
She wouldn't be affiliated, but Mysterio is. This is why he's in there. And I was struck. I started to realize I didn't have that many affiliated characters in this, and I was like, "Oh, better put some in." I'll come back to the others. We've got Taskmaster because he's flexible, and again, a bit of a tank for a 3-threat. We've got Crossbones because again, flexible tank. Not as flexible, but again, he can hold. He can take a punch. He can dish out punch. Mystique is Mystique. She does stuff that the other characters can't do. She's fast. She has deception, which I'm sure I left in this list. And again, 3-threat, and she's got stealth as well. And then we've got the newcomers. Black Dwarf, Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, and the Reality Gem, because Corvus needs that. I thoroughly thought when I was making this at 14 threat, you just take Corvus, the Gem, Modok, and Kingpin on an E. Like that.
Yeah.
That was my thinking. Even.
Oh, that's gonna. I mean, I assume you've taken the members of the Black Order here mainly because they are tanky as all hell.
I mean, they all reduce damage.
And they all reduce damage. That's what I mean when I say tanky. Black Dwarf is physically tanky. You know, he's got like the opposite bodyguard. Which is great.
He's.
But I think what Corvus and Proxima bring here is a little bit of priority control. And just being able to punch face so hard. Like Proxima again, it's a long mover to be fair. So you know that's
the other thing I was thinking in the future is you could drop Mystique for Sin. And then if you could play Kingpin, Sin, Crossbones, Proxima, and Corvus.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't add up the threat on that. In my head, it's about 18. How much is Sin? I can't remember. Is she 3?
3. Yeah, she's a 3 threat.
So 3, 6, 10, 17 with a gem 18. Yeah, I was right. 18 threat. You've got 5 characters and a gem. But you've got 2 sets of characters that can basically act together. So Sin can activate, then Crossbones can go. Corvus and Proxima doesn't. They're interchangeable. Who goes first? So you can really get a lot of priority control, and you've got 5 characters to do it.
Yeah, you're keeping priority, pretty much.
Or you're losing it, but intentionally.
Yeah, true.
Like you just want that turn where you just go first, like, or you want to activate your characters first.
Yeah.
But this is a tanky list. The Black Order characters add some punch to it as well. They're not just tanky; they can hit fairly hard.
Corvus can tear through so much with the reality gem.
And and again, Black Dwarf may get dropped for someone else in the future, but I think Proxima and Corvus
I think maybe Luke Cage.
Maybe Luke Cage, exactly, and he's obviously 3 threat, which means I can get someone else in as well.
Yeah.
So
what about tactics on this one then?
Tactics cards, I'm not as good at this as you, but I've got Brace again because same reasons. There's a lot of big characters in this list. I don't want them being thrown into each other.
Arguably even bigger. Yeah.
Or you've got, that's for if you're going more Black Ordery. And going for the punch. Bit of Rivals, because I found out that card is an absolute nightmare. I became quite a fan of it after being played against me a couple of times. Yeah. Climbing Gear again, we've got some slow characters in there. Deception again, because Mystique. Again, Field Dressing can be swapped for Patch Up or Med Pack, whatever your preference is.
I don't hate field dressing actually in Criminal Syndicate because you want to be keeping the characters
because you want them on their healthy side, which is why I've got it. It's my first choice on Criminal Syndicate, but people have preferences.
Absolutely.
I've got Shadow Organization in there because if you are playing this for Criminal, you can basically that's in there, but I can drop it if I want to play a bit taller and just go a bit punchier.
Yeah, I like that.
And I've got Psychic Shielding Device because they don't have the best mental defense across this list, apart from Mysterio. Yeah. So I feel like mental is coming more into the game. I think we've seen Mr. Sinister today. He's been teased. Both of his attacks, or at least certainly his builder and his spender, are mental. And his builder is a mental beam attack. I would take Psychic Shielding Device all day long, thank you. Especially with Enchantress on the table now as well. I actually think that card's going to see a bit more play. I can't say I've really seen it much, but I think it's going to start to see a bit more play.
That's fair. I can see it. But yeah, I like that. Yeah. You're doing what you got to do, adding a bit of movement, adding a bit of survivability. And then cards like all you've got can just be like, I'm picking something. Or 2 things, especially if you do it on, say, Corvus.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to murder some people. I've got 4 activations. I've got 4 chances of stabbing. Like, yeah, it's cool. It's good.
And Crises, I spent a little bit more time thinking about it, but I still went with ones I like. I find it really hard. Like, I know people go oh yeah, this is best for these guys and whatever. And I always end up going, do you know what? I like these. I went with Gamma again because this list I think is even better on Gamma. because when they're bunched up and you take Corvus, Proxima, Kingpin, Black Dwarf, MODOK, whoever, it doesn't like there's not really a bunch of characters you can pick that don't do quite well on an E-map, which is why I also then went with Montesi. Just to force that and I quite like the spell books. And if you get Montesi and Gamma together, it's always quite funny. Or Montesi and Demons, actually. I think we played that.
Yeah, we did. That
was quite fun. Because when you've got a spellbook, which is a beam, and
someone's been
incinerated,
yeah,
or several characters have been incinerated, then it gets crazy.
It does.
Chuck in hammers, because hammers is hammers, and it's a D map. I quite like a D map if you want to play a bit wider. Again, you've got Vaults, which is the D map, playing that a little bit wider. Infinity Formula, I think, is good because you get that extra power that sometimes can be lacking. And out of the core box, it's a good one. I know Pat's a fan of Infinity Formula.
I love it.
And I put in the herbs again because I do think there is a way of making that work, especially if you've got multiple characters activating all in one go.
That's a fair point. But yeah, effectively in one go before your opponent gets to go.
I'm pretty sure Proxima could like run up and grab it and then give it to Corvus or Corvus. I don't know. I'm sure there's a way. Because is Proxima's spear throw thing a builder, or is that
which one? Like
the one that actually throws a spear and
no,
moves?
it just moves and gives out the poison. It's not a, but it costs zero. It costs zero
cost, but it's not a
zero cost.
Okay, well, there might be a way. Who knows? Again, other people are better at this than me. But that is my slightly more competitive list. I spent a little bit more time thinking about it. It's a difficult one because I do think there's not quite enough characters to go pure, like almost pure Criminal Syndicate.
Yeah.
But I think with Sin and Goblin and the other Spider Foes, I think there's going to be some very good dual/triple affiliation lists coming out with Syndicate, Cabal, and Spider Foes.
I agree. And I appreciate you not putting any hired muscle stuff in there.
Do you know what? When you said it, I was like, no, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. We did it on the Asgard list. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it's a card that came out in Kingpin, and I truly believe should have been an affiliated card for Criminal Syndicate.
And I think so too. I think that would fix that card.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's not that strong in Criminal Syndicate. I mean, it's still strong.
It's still strong, but it's not game breaking. Yeah, it's not game breaking.
Like you said, you can't do the thing where you like run up, use it, grab an objective,
run away. You can't do all of that in one turn.
No.
But yeah, well done for not using it.
Thank you. I was proud of myself.
Good.
I would be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. That is Criminal Syndicate. They're still my favourite. They will be my joint favourite once the Spider Foes are released. I'm still going to play bad guys. Defenders are going to be creeping up there once Luke Cage and Iron Fist come out, though. Not going to lie. But Luke Cage is going to be hired into my Criminal Syndicate.
Yeah, I like that.
And there's another character I'm going to mention now because I think he's going to be amazing in Criminal Syndicate, and I hate saying it, but Deadpool is going to be amazing in Criminal Syndicate. I'm just going to say it now, counting as healthy on his injured side.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe not amazing. I don't think he's an amazing.
Yeah, I don't think he's amazing because he's not affiliated as well. I think that's the big thing. The fact that he doesn't take an affiliated slot, that's what I think balances it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So.
But I think he is going to be pretty good in Criminal Syndicate. I think I'll probably have to play around with him in Criminal Syndicate, and I hate saying it.
I think that's fine.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah.
No, wait. Comic books.
Yeah, I've just got a few. So this one was difficult for me because, when you're looking at Criminal Syndicate, you think they're actually, the Criminal Syndicate actually doesn't exist like it does in MCP in Marvel. So there isn't the secret shady organization of thugs. There are just people who work for Kingpin. So what I've done here is I've got 3 comic books that I have read that have Kingpin as the primary villain. Two of them are Daredevil books,
Nice.
both from the same author. But one of them is called Daredevil Love and War, written by Frank Miller with art by Bill Sienkiewicz. And this comic book has a lot of inspiration for the Daredevil TV show when it comes to Kingpin and Vanessa. Yeah, like it's got Daredevil in the front, but really this is like a much more of a Fisk sort of storyline with, you know, when Vanessa's put in danger, you know, how far is Fisk going to go? And it turns out, you know, he'll do what he has to do. So yeah, this was first published as a graphic novel in 1986, so it is an older book. Wow, that's saying something. But in all seriousness, Daredevil written by Frank Miller is the best Daredevil you're going to read, and holy moly, this art is out there. If you have read The Sandman,
yeah, it's fantastic, utterly fantastic. You
will be aware of the sort of art that you're getting into when you're dealing with someone like the Kingpin. You're dealing with his psyche and stuff like that. It's mad, it's out there, it's of the time, it's very cool. Definitely worth a read. Like I said, it's just a graphic novel, so it's not, you know, a 12-issue run or whatever. You can get it you can get it in like one sitting and sort of read it front to back, and it's brilliant. Like, it's great. Sticking with Frank Miller, this one is with art from David Mazzucchelli, and this is Daredevil Born Again. Now, this is a bit of a cop-out because this is probably one of the most highly regarded Daredevil runs of all time, as it sort of deals with his sort of descent into insanity and basically the breaking down of a hero by one villain, and that villain is Kingpin. So again, this is very much a lot of inspiration for. You can see it in the Daredevil Netflix TV show, with things like Karen Page and Ben Urich and stuff like that. I mean, Daredevil is broken to the point, you know, where he is homeless, he's paranoid, and it's all because of the stuff that, you know, Kingpin has done. This is a fantastic like sort of run. It's got to have been compiled into. I'm just looking now. It's got to have been compiled into an easy to get sort of trade. Absolutely, the art's amazing. There's a lot of, you know, Christian symbolism, which obviously is going to come from Daredevil in general. So there's a lot of this. It's very deep. It's a very deep sort of book, but a lot of Frank Miller's Daredevil run was, and a lot of it is very dark, and this is both dark and deep, and has Kingpin basically just ruining your hero. So if you're a Kingpin fan, what more do you want?
I'm also a Daredevil fan though, so I feel bad.
I mean, if you haven't read Born Again, check it out. Like, if you
I'm sure I probably have. If I picked it up, I'd be like, I've read this.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, I have no idea what you're on about.
That's fair. And the final one I went for was a bit more recent, so 2010 to 12. This probably is Punisher Max.
Okay. Thought you were going to go Spider-Man, but no.
No, you know, I mean, a very cool Kingpin stuff is obviously Into the Spider-Verse. If you just want to watch that, like, that is.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, that's wicked. But man, yeah, Punisher Max. So this is volume 2, I believe. This is Jason Aaron and Steve Dillon. Steve Dillon is basically just become the Punisher artist. Like, he's done everything. And this is a 22-issue run. And basically it starts with Kingpin and ends with Kingpin. And you've got basically like Kingpin subordinates between the first arc and the last arc, with Bullseye and Elektra and stuff like that going on, and ends in a way that, you know, has Fisk won, has Punisher lost, who knows? But I'm gonna say it, Steve Dillon's art's not for everyone. Okay, I'm a fan. I'm a big Punisher fan though, so I don't know whether or not that gives him a little bit more credit. But it's good. It's all been I'm pretty sure it's been collected into. I think it is 4 volumes, but there probably is a way of getting it in 1 or 2. But yeah, you basically start with Kingpin, then you move on to Bullseye, then you've got sort of a couple of issues that really do focus a little bit more with Frank and him going to prison, and dealing with sort of, should he be carrying on this vendetta that he started, and this need to be the Punisher. And then you deal with a couple of issues with Elektra, and then it ends again with Kingpin. And yeah, it's good. It's really good. Again, this is a much darker Kingpin, to be fair. Than, I mean, obviously we talked about Daredevil, Love and War, and Born Again. These are both dark books. The more, like you say, Spider-Man villains, when you've got him as a Spider-Man villain, he's probably not being quite as
that's true
shady as
slightly.
He is.
Although you said that though, and then we sped into the Spider-Verse. He's horrible in that.
He's horrible in that, but I'll read these 3 books and then you'll be like, okay, yeah, that's.
I mean, that was a cartoon. But...
yeah. Did you watch Daredevil? He killed a man with the door of a car. He literally.
Can I just say that I want Vincent D'Onofrio in the MCU?
If he doesn't, I will riot.
If they recast Kingpin, I'm done.
I don't think they can't. I don't think they can while Vincent D'Onofrio is alive.
Which is probably, I know it's rumored that he might be popping up in the multiverse film, but like along with Charlie Cox and like. I'm okay with all of these rumors, and I hope they're not just rumors.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a good villain. He's a really interesting villain in the comic books. He's brilliant in the Daredevil TV show. He's brilliant in Into the Spider-Verse. He's really good actually in the Spider-Man video game as well. PS4, PS4. Right. So there have been a lot of really good adaptations of Kingpin, and because he is this like mob boss, but he's also, he's been the mayor, he's been a bit of a above board businessman with shady underbelly. So you can have a much not light-hearted Kingpin, but, not murdering people Kingpin. And then you can get the murdering Kingpin. And I think
you're still going to get murdering Kingpin. It's just he's not doing it himself.
He's not doing it himself. He's not like crushing people's heads with his own hands sort of thing. But, I think that pretty much wraps up the Criminal Syndicate talk. If anybody has any other issues or storylines that I haven't noticed there, let me know. I'm always willing to read some stuff. I probably have read other Kingpin stuff, but these were the 3 that I didn't have to look up. These were just 3 that I remember being like.
I feel like you didn't have enough Bullseye in your comic book recommendations.
Well, I watched Daredevil season 3, and he was pretty good in that. So.
Okay.
I mean, to be fair, with Bullseye, he was good in Punisher Max. Like, he was in that. All right, so you can get
that. Did mention a character there that I hope we see at some point as Elektra, because I think she'll be Jewel. I don't know, actually. Should be Criminal Syndicate.
Should be Criminal Syndicate. I agree. No, I like.
Maybe even unaffiliated. She might even be a rogue.
Well, she could be like a Taskmaster. Could be a rogue agent, but affiliated Criminal Syndicate. Like, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, I think. I guess a book. I'm just trying to now think. I haven't read many things with Bullseye in. The only thing I can really think of was recently I sort of read a bit of Old Man Logan, and he's in that, and he's got cybernetic implants to make him better at like doing stuff. He's quite badass.
Is that when he's going around with Hawkeye?
Yeah, that's the old man side of things. Yeah. It's cool. It's different. Yeah, when it comes to the actual, obviously he was big in Siege and the Shadowlands storyline and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't really think of.
I liked him when he was pretending to be Hawkeye
in the Dark Avengers. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So there are storylines.
That's fine. I was only joking. Bullseye's not really my favorite character. It's just.
I don't know. You talk about him a lot.
That's because I feel no one else is.
No, it's a bit far when you whisper his name in your sleep, Matt.
Yeah, at least I was saying that.
Who is Benjamin Poindexter? She said.
Can you stop talking about Pat now?
No. Yeah, that's definitely Pat. It's not a comic. It's not a character. But yeah, I think that wraps that up. We will move on to Cable.
Kapow.
Kapow or Cabal.
Cabal. No, he's not Cabal. He's Cable.
He's not Cabal. So Cable, Nathan Summers. We haven't had the model release for him, but holy moly, that model is incredible.
I think we should have though. He's one of the ones.
We should have. Yeah, we should have had him. He's delayed.
Yeah, the model is insane.
Yeah, I love this model. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
It's just so good.
Yeah, brilliant. But yes, Nathan Summers. He is a 5 threat. He is size 2. Small movement or short movement, sorry, and on his healthy side he has 6 stamina with defenses of 3 physical, 3 energy, and 4 mystic / mental. So what do you think looking at that top stat line there?
That is a 5 threat terrible character.
Yes, it's a little bit under, isn't it? It's the stamina is below,
low on health, low on defense.
I mean, they're solid. They're not.
No, they're low.
They're on the lower end of normal, I would say.
Not for a 5 threat.
Yeah, true. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. We'll move on to the attacks, shall we? So the first one is an energy attack, plasma rifle, range 5 dice, 0 cost.
That's tasty.
That's real tasty, and it's obviously his builder, so he gains power equal to the damage dealt. But on a wild, he has Incinerate. So after the attack is resolved, the condition, they gain the Incinerate condition. And this is rolling 1 less defense dice. Is that correct?
It is indeed.
So this just makes his second plasma rifle shot even more likely to kill him. So
that's a nice builder.
It's probably up there as one of the better builders at range 5 at energy with Incinerate. Yeah. I think that's it's bordering on obnoxious, I would say.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah. Then we move on to Aksani-san, which is his spender, and boy, do you have to spend to use it. It's an area 2, 7 dice, but it costs 6. Now, this is a mystic attack, and if the attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, remove 1 damage from this character. And obviously that's done individually, so if you're hitting 2 or 3 characters, after it deals if it deals damage, you will heal 2 or 3 health, which is not nothing. So that gives you a little bit more survivability when you've got that 6 stamina. The problem I see is that you're probably not using this attack all that much on his healthy side.
Not unless you're having a very good game.
Yeah. I'll move past his X-Force leadership and go on to his superpowers, of which he has 5. Read that 5. So this is a bit more interesting. The first one is Body Slide by 1. Now, Brilliant. This isn't... Yep, amazing. So this is a cost 2 superpower. So you place this character within 2 of its current position. The superpower can be used only once per turn. So yes, he's a slow mover, but he can body slide by 1. And just hip hop hippity out of there, or probably out of there. He's got a range 5 attack. You don't need him in the fray too much.
Unless you want to Aksani-san.
I mean, also the thing is, if you want to body slide by 1 to the middle of the board, and then
that's 8 power, yeah.
You can shoot wherever you want, though, is what I was going to say with the plasma.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Body slide by 1, and then you just pow, pow, no one's safe.
If only you had 2 power at the start of the game.
If only. I'll move on to that one. His next active superpower is Omega level threat, of which he is 1. This is an X cost superpower. So this character may spend 1 to 4 power. May pay 1 to 4 power when paying the cost of the superpower. Choose an interactive terrain feature within 3 with a size equal to or less than the amount of power spent. Throw the chosen terrain feature medium. You can only use this power once per turn.
Mini Magneto.
Mini Magneto, indeed. This is a wicked superpower. Okay, this is. I was not sad to see this.
I wonder why.
I'll pay 4 power to throw a size 4 piece of terrain any day of the week. Absolutely.
I mean, medium.
you're going to have 4 power. I'm burying the lead here, but you're going to have 4 power because, you know, he generates 2 power. I've skipped one. He generates 2 power a turn. We can't talk about a mega level threat without just talking about the fact that he gains that extra power a turn. When combined with the fact that he's got a range 5 dice builder, he's probably going to have 4 energy, 4 power whenever you need to, whenever you want it. So his reactive superpower is telekinetic shield. This costs 2. When this character or an allied character within 3 of this character is targeted by an attack, that's the important bit, or an allied character. That's really good. You basically add 2 dice to the target character's defense roll. This is
Vibranium shield all around.
Yeah, this is really
Chuck
good.
This guy in Avengers right now.
Well, I mean, it's very similar to Doctor Strange's ability as well, correct?
Yep.
What's that called? Something's Hoary Wisdom.
Hogarth's Hoary
Wisdom. Yeah, he's so hoary. Yeah, this is it's good. It's good. You could use it on yourself. Say for the Lolo cost of 2 power.
Is it, you know.
Lolo cost of 2 power. He's got 5 defense, 5 physical and energy, and 6 mystic. That's pretty good. Like I said, the rest of his superpowers there we've got are both passive, and the first one is that he generates 2 power a turn, or an additional power, thanks to his techno-organic virus suppression.
Not if he's poisoned though.
But he's immune to being poisoned.
Oh my god.
So looking at his healthy side, you know, we've got that spender, which doesn't look great. We've got slightly lower defenses and health than we'd really like, but those 2 things change on his healthy or on his injured side. He goes up to 7 stamina.
He does.
So that gives him 13, which is still slightly under what I think we'd be looking at. I think 13 is on the lower end of normal.
Well, we just looked at Kingpin, who is 4 threat for 14 health.
Yeah, his thing is not dying though.
No,
whereas Cable is a bit more like a Swiss Army knife. He can do whatever you need him to.
I agree.
But yeah, the other change on this injured side is his Aksani Sun. So exactly the same, area 2, 7 dice, 6 power. If the attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, remove 1 from this character. That stays the same. But now he has a trigger, which triggers on a wild and a hit, is that?
Oh god, what is it? I think it is. I don't think it's a crit. I think it's a wild and a hit.
Yeah, wild and a hit. And what happens when you get wild and a hit? You get to stagger. So
that is nasty.
Yeah, that is nasty.
Catch a group of enemies in that. That's going to be nasty.
Yeah, I think it's
7 dice is pretty likely.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, he's got 6 stamina on his healthy side, so if he is one-shotted or if he's killed before you get to spend any power, you know you've got your 6 power to do the Aksani Sun, which I like. He can then body slide by 1 out of there and move away if he needs to, or he can just plasma rifle people to the face, which is very good. But where is Cable affiliated? Well, he is the leader of the new affiliation, the X-Force, and he's got his Wetworks leadership. So each allied character may re-roll 1 die in their attack rolls once per turn. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the general consensus is this is meh.
Underwhelming, shall we say.
I mean, I think it's fair. I think they just didn't have enough room on his card to put a longer leadership ability.
Yeah.
I
would say
it's fine.
I just want to say, when you've got abilities like Incinerate, sometimes you do just need that extra 1 bit of damage, so you will re-roll that 1 dice. Yeah. And you don't have to spend any power to do that. You just get to do it. And if you're adding in characters who already have innate re-rolls, then, you know, even better. I mean, Cable doesn't have them, but Inhumans do. So, yeah, I think looking at Cable's card there, he is, like I said, he's a Swiss Army knife. He can do a bit of everything. He has an out of action move. He has a range 5 energy attack, which, as we know, is the strongest sort of attack type in the game.
Yeah.
He dishes out a good condition in Incinerate.
Yeah.
He can throw terrain.
Yeah.
He can add defense dice to both him and his allies.
Brilliant.
He gains 2 power.
Excellent.
And then when he's injured, he can also dish out stagger to 2 or 3 characters. Oof. So we haven't really seen a character who can do so much, I think, personally. Yes, not all of that is game breaking. Not all of that is, mind blowingly good. But what it is all on one card, which I think is pretty impressive.
I think he's got extra maneuverability, he's got extra defense, he's got extra attack in terms of the throw. He gets extra power. Like you said, he is literally a bit of everything, all on one card. He's a leader. Yes, his leadership is not great.
But what I would say about his leadership is he is also affiliated in the Uncanny X-Men.
Yes, he is.
Of which, so is Domino, who is in both. So is Wolverine, who is in both. Yeah. So you have a nice little crossover there. And he is also very recently revealed to be an Avenger, which is mad good.
Is he one of Avengers?
Yeah, he is recently revealed as being affiliated.
I didn't see that, actually.
Oh, did you not? I got very excited. I think I put it in the chat, but I think you guys were more excited about the fact that the Cabal and criminal syndicate stuff had sort of...
I missed that. I saw the... I know, like, Iron Fist was in...
Yeah, so Cable, Deadpool, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage were recently added to the Avengers list. So, Deadpool is a member of the X-Force and Avengers. Yeah, so there's going to be some crossover. I think Cable is a brilliant Avenger. I think if you look at Body Slide by 1 and Telekinetic Shield, like as an Avenger, you can do both of those on the first turn. Yeah, basically every turn, because the Body Slide by 1 you'll do on your turn as the active, so you reduce that power
on your opponents.
Do on your opponents, so you still get to reduce it each turn, and he gains 2 power a turn unless he's stunned. But he gains 2 power a turn. Is this where we sort of have an Avengers who has a 5 now? Like, obviously they've got beefy characters in there. You can take Hulk, you can take She-Hulk, you can take Thor. These are big beefy characters.
They're all beat sticks.
Yeah, I think there's an argument that can be made for a character like Cable, who really, like, I really like personally these sort of slightly more go wide Avengers lists. And yes, Cable at 5 threat is going against that, but he can help out so much with pumping out Incinerate, so making it easier for not your weaker characters, but your characters who might not have damage dealing as their primary thing.
You can drop Hawkeye for him.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think there's going to be times when that's going to be very useful. He's got really good throws, and the telekinetic shield is really useful. If you can imagine telekinetic shield on Captain America, that Captain America is not going down any day of the week.
Can you imagine vibranium shield, telekinetic shield?
Yeah, I also what I'm thinking of personally, and now obviously She-Hulk's expensive, Cable is expensive, but you'll then have fighters like Luke Cage, and then with Captain America, Luke Cage, She-Hulk, Cable, you've just got this this is a super tall list now, but boy is that tanky as well.
That's horrible.
You've got 2 bodyguards. You've got Iron Fist's bodyguard. I'm doing quote unquote there. It's different. You got Cable buffing you while pumping out Incinerate left, right, and center, and throwing pieces of terrain.
Do you think we're going to get a higher than 20 threat game at any point?
Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. We can play a higher than 20 threat.
I just think. Do you think we're going to get one?
Oh, no. I think they've set their boundaries at 14 and 20. But I will say, what I've just said there is 11, 15. It's only 18.
Yeah, no, I know. I know. I was just thinking you could do Hulk, She-Hulk, Cable, and Cap.
Oh,
that was
boy.
21.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no, that's 21.
Well, we can always just play a 21 threat game. Why not?
Yeah, it's fine. It was one threat, really.
Yeah, what is one threat? In all seriousness, Cable is sweet. I can't wait to get him on the table / Tabletop Simulator until we can play the game properly in person, which I think will be soon.
May the something or other.
May the force be with you. No?
No, it's later than that.
I know.
I think it's is it the 17th?
I think it's the 17th. Yeah. I think it's the 17th.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Oh, it will be so good. I don't think we'll have Cable by then, to be fair.
Maybe just. I'm not. I have no idea what the release schedule is like at the minute.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult. But I cannot wait to play Cable. Do we have this sort of X-Men, X-Force, Avengers list? I want to try it, but I also just want to try him in Avengers.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to fight you with yet.
That's cool. That's cool. But I think that wraps up episode 7 here with our deep dive into Criminal Syndicate. I think next time I will be bringing an affiliation to the table, and I think I will bring Wakanda. Why not?
Oh, that's my good kind list.
Oh, did you want it? No, if you want
no.
I'll go Web Warriors. I'll go Web Warriors.
Do you not want to wait for Web? Oh no, I suppose we've already got the card, so yeah.
Yeah, we got the card for Web Warriors. That's what I thought. I could do Web Warriors.
Okay.
We'll do that. Web Warriors, episode 8. And we'll also be looking at Domino, which will be cool.
Cool.
But this has been good. Thank you for telling me all your deepest knowledge about Criminal Syndicate, Matt.
You're welcome. I can't ever play them again now.
But yeah, anybody have anything else they want to add to our discussion here, just add it in the comments below. Message us on Facebook. We're happy to answer anything you guys have got. Like, subscribe, share with everyone, and we will leave you until next week. See you later, Matt.
See you guys.